It's been a couple of days already since I went to the E3 thing at Nintendo World, and I just wanted to give my impressions of the three game demos I got to play. I was one of the last, maybe three or four people, possibly the very last person, who was allowed to play three game demos. Everyone after me, I think, or a couple of people after me, after that, everyone was only allowed to play two demos because there were just so many people there, they cut down how many demos you could play. I pretty much the first demo I played was Super Mario 3D World. As I said earlier, the game, there were lots of cool surprises with the level design and things like that. The music was I liked the music, and I said I wanted something a little less grandiose than the Mario Galaxy soundtrack, but I mean that in that the grandiose music of Mario Galaxy was excellent for Mario Galaxy, but for this style of game, something more along the lines of sort of the classic Mario themes was in order, like how Mario 3D Land's theme was kind of based on Mario Brothers 3. And this time, if you listen carefully, there's some elements of the main theme for Mario Galaxy 2. They snuck into the theme for Mario 3D World that was featured in that reveal trailer. So I like the music. That's really the only aspect of it I didn't talk about before. Like I said, basically, I'm glad the final version is supposed to support the Pro Controller because playing it with the D-pad in multiplayer was not very fun. That's a game that definitely needs analog control, but as far as like the ideas, they just some in the first level alone, just some of the new level elements and new obstacles and things I had to work out were a lot of fun. So they definitely have a lot of new ideas for this new game, so I'm looking forward to playing it. And what else? The next game I played was Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8 looks excellent. It's obviously been noted before. It has ultimately, like, the graphics are better than Mario 3D Land. And Mario 3D Land, when you see it in person, looks excellent as it is. But Mario Kart 7 has the improvement has more to do with the art style. The tracks are possibly smaller environments than what they're working with in 3D Land, kind of like how on the GameCube Mario in Smash Brothers Melee on GameCube looked better than he did in Mario Sunshine, but in a Smash Brothers game you're only dealing with a very small stage, and there's art style differences between games even if they have the same characters in them. So that plays into why Mario Kart I think looks more visually impressive than Mario 3D Land. Not that, but 3D Land when you actually see it in person, running in HD, it looks great. And what else do I have to say about Mario Kart 8? I played it. That game I got to play using the excuse me the Wii U gamepad, and on my screen on the gamepad screen was a touchscreen steering wheel that you could beep like you're hitting the horn of a car. I'd rather have had like a full screen map there, but this is just one mode. There are probably going to be several different things you could choose to put on the gamepad screen. I elected to play with the gamepad because I never play. I played Mario Kart Wii for about maybe 5 minutes ever, and when I played with the motion control on Mario Kart Wii, and I wasn't using the Wii wheel, mind you. I'm not sure that would have helped much. I did not like how that felt very much. I preferred to have an actual analog joystick controller. So the guy I was playing with was gracious enough to let me use the Wii U gamepad, and I found it feels very easy to pick up and play this game. Felt myself using some of the same tricks I was using in Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS to control my kart. Getting the boosts when you jump over ramps by hitting the shoulder trigger. The game looks great. The big difference here is that now they're anti-gravity sections, and the anti-gravity sections in the level I played were kind of off the beaten path. It wasn't like this was a main feature of that particular stage. So the person I was with, I'll get to the people running the demos later, but yes, they had to the person running the demo. She had to direct me towards if you go over there, you get to play through an anti-gravity part of the stage. So I played through the anti-gravity parts of the track, and it is a lot of fun playing with that anti-gravity level. It does not feel like F-Zero. It still feels like you're playing Mario Kart, but I think some of the things they're going to be able to do with having to maneuver and through the level. When I first got into the anti-gravity section, it felt kind of like playing Mario galaxy for the first time, where you're running around those small little planetoids, and it was kind of disorienting at first. But I know when I actually get my hands on it, I'm going to get used to it very quickly. It's going to be a fun element if they really go, get really creative with how they design these courses using both gravity and anti-gravity elements. Let's see. The next game I played was The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker HD. I had the option of playing Pikmin 3, but I haven't played. I only on the GameCube, and I wasn't that great at it. Even though I know it was a good game, I had fun with it, but I wasn't that great at it. And that game, you played using the Wii Remote Plus and Nunchuck, and then the gamepad was sort of set there, and it just had a map on it that I suppose you could look at while you were playing. But I really think, I mean, obviously, I could tell by watching other people play that the fact that they made new play control Pikmin, that pointing with the Wii remote pointer and being able to throw Pikmin using the touchscreen, I mean using the motion control flick of the wrist, is like really probably one of the best uses of the Wii remote and nunchuck combo, along with the pointer. But I don't know. It just seems like if I ever get this game, that playing with the gamepad in my hands as the main controller and having access to seeing all that my data and information right there in my hands is going to be a lot more useful to the fact that of what it's essentially a form of RTS than holding the Wii remote and gamepad and having those cool controls, but then having to look at what that I guess would be set up on your coffee table or something on a stand. But yeah, how the way you played it in this at the demo was that you played with the Wii remote and nunchuck, and then the gamepad was just sort of set up with a map on it that basically everyone didn't really look at who was playing it. I figured it would take more time to. And by the way, I want to say about Pikmin 3. Pikmin 3 looks excellent. It looks absolutely beautiful. When you look at screenshots, I've looked at screenshots and I've I don't know about those ground textures. But when you actually, maybe they even improved it since then. But when you see it in person, everything looks great. Like the fruits that you carry around look almost photorealistic. I know there was this one mode that they were talking about where you two players are competing against each other, and they each have a bingo card of different fruits they have to collect, and they're each trying to race to get to score the right combination of fruits to bring back to their base before the opponent. So I think they're going to have a lot of fun different modes in this game. But I decided to play Wind Waker HD because I thought it would be quicker to play, and because I had already played it before. I have not played Wind Waker. I haven't played through it since my first playthrough back in 2003, or 2 or 3. I think it came out early 03 in the US. But I haven't really played it. I haven't picked up and played it since 2005. So even though I was familiar with it, but playing it again for the first time in several years on a controller that only had maybe, let's see, my lifetime experience using a Wii U gamepad, it might total to about 15 or 20 minutes. So I wasn't that familiar with the controller, and it felt different from using the GameCube controller. And plus, I was trying to rush through it, because I don't know. Well, and basically the people who were running the demos, they were Nintendo World Store employees, but they had special training to run these demos. They knew the demos inside and out. They're basically the same kind of people that would be helping people with the E3 attendees with the demos. So they knew every element of the demo. They had all the points that they had to bring up. They knew specifically how to instruct the people playing the demo to do this or do that, and to bring up certain points, like the fellow who was doing the Wind Waker demo with me, pointed out the improved lighting and so forth over the Nintendo GameCube version. And I remember back when I was first playing Wind Waker, when you're playing the sword training part, that guy is so particular over how you do the controls that it's very easy to mess up repeatedly, even though you're trying to do his instructions as best you can. So what happened with me was I was trying to do this one thing, like I think it was like the forward stab, and I wasn't getting the timing just right. So he kept hitting me, like, no, do it again, and so I was trying to get through that, but I actually was doing it so fast that I did it, and he was now asking me to do something else, and so I was still trying to do the first thing he was asking me to do. So he kept hitting me, and the guy doing the demo was like, you have to stop, and I know that your instinct as a gamer is to stop and, rush through and not read the text, but it's really important to read the text even in a Zelda game. So I kind of got very gently, admonished for rushing through the text, because his job is to to get me through the game as quickly as possible, and and quite likely dealing with press people who have no clue how to play these games at all. So so that was like a little that was a little embarrassing, but it wasn't a big deal. And Wind Waker HD, what it's funny. It looks so much better. It looks great. The game itself looks great, and you see it's so much. You see an obvious improvement over the GameCube version, yet at the same time, it doesn't look that much better just because the art style and the visuals of Wind Waker on the Nintendo GameCube, they aged very well. It's very ironic because when Wind Waker was first announced, people were saying, "Oh, this game looks like crap. They need to make a realistic game. They need to make a real game with with blood and guts or whatever," which was never what Zelda was in the first place. But they're saying, "Oh, they should make a realistic Zelda game instead of this crap. This crap is such bad graphics. It's so lazy." Whereas now, Wind Waker looks better now. The GameCube version of Wind Waker now looks better than all the realistic games with so-called good graphics that they were comparing Wind Waker negatively to. And all those games look like rubbish now. Wind Waker still looks great. That being said, but really, I think if you had a television with a standard def TV next to the demo of Wind Waker HD running the original version, you could really see the difference because it looks excellent. Like any criticism of the graphics not looking that much better is really more of a testament to how good Wind Waker looked in the first place because the game itself looks great. I couldn't really hear the music much. I glanced at something on a forum saying that some of the music would be orchestrated this time around. I didn't really even get to hear the music because the, it was in the store and it was very loud and there's lots of stuff going on, so I didn't get to hear the music much. The controls worked fine. They worked just like on GameCube. I just had to get used to the controller. The select button enabled the game to be played on the gamepad, and it looks great on the gamepad. Obviously, one thing I liked is that you could instantly re-equip your items to the. I forgot, was it the? Yeah, I think it was the D-pad on the gamepad that the items are attached to, and you just take your finger and just flick your items over to the button that you want it to be on. So it's very easy to equip your items in real time without having to pause and go through menus, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. And I got to pick up a bottle. One of the things the person running the demo directed me to was one of the bottles that use the Miiverse features, so you could send messages in bottles and throw them out to sea, and you'll get bottles from other players while you're playing that you find washed up on the beach, which is going to be fun. And the game was exactly the same game, obviously, and I think, oh yes, when you use the telescope, you could use the gamepad to look around, like physically, and with the telescope, like you're holding the telescope in your hands. But you could also use the analog stick, which was, I think is the more obvious way to do it. But aside from that, well, it looked great. The controls were great. I mean, once I got through the training thing, when I was fighting the bokoblins or moblins, whatever those things are in the on top of the outset island where you fight the things right before you find Tetra. I was doing all my tricks from the GameCube one, doing the backflips and then you jump forward and slash them. So it's just second nature. I'm probably gonna play it because, well, the thing is, I don't even expect to have a Wii U within this year, unfortunately, due to real life stuff that I have to take care of, before I buy a video game system. But playing these games, Mario Kart 8, and Mario 3D World especially, it made me feel like, yeah, it's too bad I'm probably not gonna have a Wii U by year end. Well, Mario Kart 8 doesn't come out to next year anyway, but yeah. Made it a little harder to sit by and not have a Wii U, but life's life, and you gotta take care of the important stuff first. So that's my impressions of the Wii U games that were playable at the Nintendo World Store during their E3 2013 experience, and thank you for watching.